I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. We'll see how this goes. Now we have to test and see if I'm live. Go to my channel, see what's up there. Is there a live stream? Is audio coming through? Yep. Now to get this in, I want to lower that and put on the subs. So I'm going. If anyone's gonna pick this up, hey Jaden, I'm gonna watch this TV show called C that was on around the last 2 years, and if you can hear me, let me know. And figure I'll do a little live stream while I'm doing it. Share my impromptu thoughts on this. I'm doing good, Jaden. Like I said, just give me a. Let me know if you can hear me or not. You know. And it's going to get things impromptu, so I have to get things set up here. Plus, I'm trying a new way to stream out. Okay. Let me just get one more thing going here, Jaden, and I'll start talking about what I'm talking about, as it were. Oh, man. You know. Oh, here we go. And I need to get a window for how you doing today, Jaden? There's about an 8 second delay, so when I say something, it's a little prompt to live stream. I'm just sharing out what I'm doing. Check out the TV show C. Okay, so let me get going here. So for those who are watching who don't know what C is, it's a TV show starring Jason Momoa that came out like 2 or 3 years ago, right when the coof hit, and the premise was some sort of virus hit that the made the world go blind, and only a couple of people survived. And I guess supposedly the ones who could adjust most well to it, and society evolved from them. It's hundreds of years later. I did watch the first 20 minutes of this because it wasn't total garbage. I wanted to check that out. I'm gonna try not to like. It's gonna be very. I probably should put on a headset, and I'm gonna try to do this without a headset, so I don't broadcast audio, so I don't get like dinged or whatever. So I have subtitles on my end. So that's the way I usually deal with this. Anyway, so the premise is this is a couple of hundred years after the sea apocalypse, as I'm calling it, right? And then gonna get going here. Now the production values on this show look pretty good. So if anyone wanted to go on either Apple TV or some other source and watch along with me, that's perfectly fine too. I have this through my means, and I'm just watching it. Now let's see. Let's take a look at who on the screen. You'll see a little web browser there. So let's go over to that and look about C while it's happening here. So it was created by someone named Stephen Knight. So let's see what he did. So he's on Closed Circuit, Screen to Screenplays, Dirty Pretty Thing, Eastern Promises, blah, 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 Lock Hummingbird. Nothing I really heard of so far. Well, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I think everyone heard of. Uh, he's written for Peaky Blinders. I've heard of that, So it was like a British television program for the most part. Okay, that makes sense. Let's go to filmography for this guy. Yeah, all sorts of stuff you would expect. Serenity. Is that the Serenity? Nope, that's not the Serenity that's important. And then, yeah, not a lot of stuff, but the type of stuff you expect. Okay, so go back there, and it's obviously starring Jason Momoa and so forth. And the premise of the TV show is, after hundreds of years of everyone being blind and survivors evolving to deal with that, a child is born who can see. So that's the thing. Now the question is, for this setting, okay, I would expect that humans who survived the 100 years of being blind should have evolved, in a sense, to the environment. Better hearing, better sense of smell, better sense of touch. It made sense because we're primates and vision is our primary. It's like 80% of our perception comes through our vision, or some crazy number like that. So I would expect that the humans who can survive are the ones who have better senses, and that trend would evolve. So the opening is, all the outbreak of deadly virus in the 21st century, the Earth's human population was reduced to less than 2 million. Right? So that, and they get right into it. The humans who survived all emerged blind. This is the trailer. They'll lead into it. Now, centuries later, the idea of vision exists only as a myth. To even speak of it is considered heresy. Seems a little stupid. I mean, that part of it, but we'll see. Now, the reason I decided to watch this after 2 years, because I was watching a review by some other dude who said that the action sequences are pretty good. That the setting might have some holes in it, but the action scenes are pretty good. So it opens up with a woman about to give birth and a midwife coming in to help her out. Yeah. The midwife is played by Sophie Woodard. I'm gonna get her name correct. She's a great actress. I want to get her name down now. So Alfie Woodard. Sophie Aldridge is the one who played Ace. So Alfie Woodard. Yeah. And she's singing kind of a song like like a childbirthing song, which makes sense. That's how our ancestors did it. You'd think people would devolve, So that makes some sense. Now, when they do this, I do have to put. Jaden, let me know if you hear any of the TV show playing. I don't want that to happen, so I'm putting it on very low. But I do need some audio cues to have an idea what's going on in the show. So she's giving birth, basically. And Baba Voss is the character that Jason Momoa plays. Jason Momoa. And he's the husband of this character. Okay, that's good, interesting. And then there's a horn going off, which basically is like a danger sound. I'm gonna turn on my headset, I think, and then pipe my way I'm watching this through the headset. I think it'll be better so I can. It's easier to tell you what's happening. Hey, Punk Waddle, how you doing, my friend? So let me see if I can get the audio from my player going through my headset, since I'm not talking to anyone else on the stream. Audio device. Headset. Any case, so that works. So I got the audio going through my headset, so you guys shouldn't be able to hear. Should not be able to hear. My microphone just went dead. Can you guys still hear me? because I believe my microphone should be feeding through OBS and not through Teams. Okay. Anyway, so they're at the battle. If you guys can still hear me, just let me know. Otherwise I'll mess with the mic settings. My OBS is recording it, not. I'm using Google Meets because eventually I want to be like, if I do like add people into the live stream or whatever, I want to be able to have a program like that and feed that through OBS. So they're at the now. Apparently, there's a wall at the edge of their area they live. So Jason Momoa, Baba Voss, is leading his troopers out, and they are advancing if they're blind. They're using sticks to feel. They're listening. So they looks like they did a good job with the choreography on this. They must have hopefully did a lot of research. Thanks, Punk Waddle. I'm going to try to. You know what I might want to do, because I want to keep glancing over there and glancing away, is I might shrink up the screen that where I'm checking the video out and where the chat is, and put that below what I'm watching so I can see that there. There we go. So I can look down at the chat and up at the thing. Okay, so they have a wise woman, mystic type woman. My understanding is this is a science fiction show. So if there's any sort of mystical thing, it's going to be a science fiction mystical thing, right? There'll be some sort of like large group of men on horseback are approaching, and Baba Voss says it's a whole army. Alkenny seems to be the name of their place. Looking at it, it's like this. I mean, they have a nice visual setting, so that they're in a forest. It looks good. The humans have gone tribal again, so that seems to make sense. Uh, you know, War drums. I don't know if a society based on hearing would want. I guess they would use that coordinate, because in the real world we did use that sort of thing to coordinate. I guess the chanting would help them coordinate as well. So they could hear how many people are around them. That kind of makes some sense. I mean, we know that in real life military in the olden days, group chanting, and even now with the cadences and whatever, helps them coordinate and be together as a team. The question is, in a society where you have hearing as your primary sense, would that conflict? So they're basically flashing back and forth between the woman giving birth and then the battle that's about to occur. So they're going for a dichotomy here on that. Jaden or Punkwater, have either of you seen this show yet, by the way? It's been on for 2 years. So, okay. I mean, the maternity scene's believable. I've worked in women's healthcare for years. I've unfortunately even had to be around a few of these deliveries. Not, because it's a little. Okay, the enemies are called the Witchfinders, and the character played by Alfie Woodard says they're coming for this mother giving birth. Nice visuals. I mean, one thing I really like, my friend Mike OBS70 out there, he and I talk all the time when they put these fantasy or science fiction shows on, and they really highlight the setting that they're in, like the backgrounds and whatever. There's a show called Dark Winds that I want to get back to, which does that. There were some shows Mike and I talked about, Legends of the Seeker, which was great for that, with all those New Zealand type of backgrounds. And this show seems to be doing the same thing. It's probably a visual aesthetic that a lot of directors go for. Okay, so we got a traitor here, basically. He's yeah. So this guy is called the Witchfinder General, which is a term we've heard in other shows and settings. However, there is a Vincent Price movie called The Witchfinder General. So I haven't seen it for a while, but Vincent Price is uh, a great actor, obviously, who's left us since. And after, I will probably, you know what? You guys can see the Wikipedia, so to speak. I'm gonna reference that and see some, look up something. So let's go to Vincent Price. I think that was that the name of the movie? Uh, I want Vincent Price. Go to his filmography. What was the movie called? This man was a great actor who was underappreciated in his time, even our times. Here it is. So, so this was the movie Vincent Price did, and he played a character called the Witchfinder General, which is it's a historical horror film, you know. And a lot of times you'll see these little references in movies and shows to things in the past that kind of like homages. I mean, not, you know, so because something about this guy might be channeling a little bit of Vincent Price because something just reminded me of that that portrayal. So there's a traitor to the Alkene people who are Jason Momoa, Baba Voss's people, and he is giving them some information about the woman who was who was giving birth. She was pregnant when she came there, and she married Baba Voss. So so Baba Voss can't has not been able to father children on his own. We learned that much. It's very slow paced right now. I don't know if I should applaud them not opening with an action sequence, or see if they're effective building up to it. So, but sometimes that could be disappointing. Like there's a movie. What was it called? I just tried to watch it. Day Shift, where it had an incredible open action sequence, and then it really got bad after that, and I stopped watching it. But then I was watching a review by the Fat Samurai guy and his and Lady Fatblood, and they said that the action sequences were great. It's the rest of the movie that sucked. So the question is, would an opening action sequence make you less likely to watch a thing if it sucks after that, or if it drops off? Okay, so they've gone full fantasy naming conventions, even though it's only a couple of hundred years after civilization collapses, where people don't have regular names anymore, like Robert or whatever. Despite the fact that people have names like Robert or Muhammad or whatever you want to call it for like 2,000 years before our modern civilization, they've gone full like made up names for fantasy conventions. So the baby is born, the first, and they're feeling him to count off, how if he's healthy or not, so they can't see. So they count his fingers and toes, and they can hear his lungs. Yeah. So the mama has our first baby. I think, I guess the woman is named Magra. Something's happening. She has a second baby, so she has twins. Uh, okay. So I think what she's going to do is what in the real world we would call an episiotomy, because the baby is misaligned. So that's where they artificially make the woman's vagina open slightly, and then so there's more room for the baby to come out. Okay, so back to the battle. The Alkeni soldiers are on top of this kind of stone wall. It looks kind of artificial, kind of natural, like a natural ledge that someone made sharper. And they're all, some of them painting their faces and things like that. In other words, they're doing battle prep. I don't know why they put face paint on if no one could see. That would seem a little stupid as a ritual that would develop. Now we see the enemy advancing, and they're using feel and listening. Since they know visuals, I mean, I guess there's a visual aesthetic to the clothing they're wearing, but I don't know why they would have one if they can't see. That doesn't make any sense, right? Uh, you know, like they're wearing stealthy looking clothes for a farce, is what I'm talking about. But why would they even know that? Like, how would they even tell what the colors are? You know? Like their clothes should be all sorts of like nonsensical colors because they, couldn't see it, so to speak. So that wall edge is clearly artificial in some way. So Babava signals to the fence with by making a quick sound. Uh, Interesting concept. They're hanging over the edge with whips to try to hit the guys coming up. I don't know if I would do that. Personally, medieval. Well, they might not know. I mean, in medieval warfare, you have piles of stones, just keep dropping them on these guys. You know, but they might not know that because they lost civilization and can't read and keep that information. So if no historians survived to tell them how the ancient warfare worked, then they would lose it. Everyone's silent, trying to listen for an attack. Okay. So they've hooked one of the defenders. Okay, that makes. I mean, the problem that's a little like how would they even hit him with the hook like that? I mean, they just have to randomly hope. This show really needs them to conceptually to show that these people have way better hearing than we do and way better sense of smell. It has to come out. Like when that movie, The Book of Eli, um, uh, you know, with when he was blind, they did establish he had insanely good hearing. Like could hear a pin drop, a quarter mile away type of hearing, which is not really even possible. But the point is, there was a supernatural element to that show. Okay, the invaders are using breach tactics like ladders to climb up. So we get into the hand-to-hand combat. That was a pretty cool thing where he charged Momoa, knocked him back, but then swung to kill him with a sword of some sort. But he couldn't see the tree that blocked the thing. So, and the defenders know where they are from feel, so they're manipulating around them. Another thing, this would be surprising, but loss of vision would be a great equalizer in combat for women, because to apply I mean, you think about a man, you need to be able to grapple, to overwhelm a weapons advantage, so to speak, if you both have a weapon, you know. Apparently, their check-in is Chet. Don't know. I mean, it's a medieval style battle, with you know, and the battle scene, the battle scene. Well, they're using knives when they get to hand-to-hand combat. Don't know how he just hit him with. I don't know how this guy just got a rope wrapped around Jason Momoa's neck. That seems a little reach. But I guess you can get some of that. Now, we've seen repeatedly, this is a good thing, this is something that is real. These guys have like tons of knives on them. You know, if you were going to engage in this sort of melee combat without real armor, which you couldn't make, you'd want tons of knives. So they're staging a retreat. It looks like they're going to use some sort of tactic they prepared. Oh, okay, that was cool. Okay, I'm not going to spoil it exactly, but their defense was well prepared. I will say that. I've become impressed by the people doing the combat choreography on this show. So now we see the enemy, so to speak. Flash that. So the attack against the wall there was a feint. So the mother had twins, a boy and a girl. Well, there's a real name, Sinjay. That's an Indian name. So now we know that this guy Jahir Lamel is the baby's real father. Okay, so the warriors have returned right after the birth. I mean, it's a little slow paced in the first episode, but the combat was pretty good. Okay, so Queen Kane is the leader of the enemy. Okay, so now that so the Warriors returned. Interesting. And here's a reference to the olden days. They called the Alkany Parliament. So I wonder, Alkany has to be is probably short for something from the old days, so to speak. And they just well, he more dictated because I guess he's the leader of the events. But that wall he had to give up their defensive point now makes it easier to get to them, and now they have to do like a layered defense with the wilderness. Okay, and another real name. So the midwife is named Paris. Godflame apparently is their deity, or what they call the deity. I mean, there's depth into the setting. You know, my only question is the sort of intuitive powers they're giving some of the characters. Is there going to be a sci-fi explanation, or just going to be the same way our ancestors did it, where people who were smarter and more empathic could sort of fake that? Yeah. Apparently, they had a vote without Baba Voss present. He doesn't look happy about that. I guess he. So I will do this whole episode, and then maybe I don't know if I want to do the whole series live stream. I might, you know. I mean, not right now because I have other things I want to do today. But okay, so the people are blaming the woman for the witch finders coming for them. So Baba Voss is going to defend his woman, and Some of the warriors, some of the warriors have basically decided to stand with Baba Voss against the bulk of the tribe. So Alfie Woodward's character stopped the fight that was about to happen. She's speaking some sense. So it looks like she's offered them basically. So she's going to lead them to a bridge off the mountain that only she knows about, and she's telling everyone to go with her. That there'll be a kinder death, basically, if they go, which makes sense. If someone's coming to invade your country and they're gonna, you never believe that they're gonna. Oh, we'll just invade and it'll be okay afterwards. You know. So it's like a segment of the tribe. So part of the Alchemy have split. A group of them have gone with Baba Voss and Alfred Woodward's character, and she has the instructions to the bridge. The instructions to get to that bridge came from Jera Morel. It's interesting. So they have defenses by having lines of rope with, like, they call them the chimes, that make sounds. They can hear a couple of them can hear how far the horses are away. Ah, they found a rope bridge. It's a rope bridge across the ravine, incredibly well. Like, not even a flimsy bridge. Like, this is like wow constructed. Okay, so it looks like they all went with Alfie Woodward's character and Baba Voss. I gotta get that character's name. So far, so good with this. Let's see who she is. Cast. Well, that's the movie. So who's Alfie Woodward play? Alfie Woodward plays Paris. Okay. And so I mean, the pace is still slow, but not bad slow. Like, it's faster than it was earlier. Um, okay, some of the humans have really, really, like, top level hearing. So they're advancing across the bridge. They're using like their walking staves to show them where the rope ropes are. That makes sense. Some people fell off the bridge. They can only tell hearing that some people fell. So the Witchfinder General is leading his troopers through. There's a David Bowie looking guy who's one of their like top level heroes. They're releasing dogs. All this is pretty good, pretty well crafted, you know. Okay, I can tell you right now that even though they depicted all the alchemy going with them, the number of people crossing the bridge is less than like 25% of the people who left the town. The dog stopped at the edge of the bridge. Baba Voss is going last. Oh, is that what's his face? Steven no, it's a young guy. So now the Witchfinder General has found the edge of the bridge. He's about 20, 25, maybe 15 meters away from Baba Voss. The baby's crying. So this guy didn't. Well, obviously, only Paris knew about the bridge. The dude's already on the bridge. Why would he? A little bit of stupidity there. Huh. We know what's going to happen. Baba Voss is going to cut these ropes. I'm betting this Jehemerel guy at one point could see. Now this would be like. So they don't know that Gether Bex betrayed them. And then Momoa just cut the bridge. So now they should have no logical reason for knowing that this Bex guy is a traitor. He's a Baltar, basically. How? Okay, so they have a falconer who can send messages with birds. Don't know how they trained them without sight, but I'd say it's possible. Sending a message to the queen. So we're about to learn who the queen is. Now they're flying over. We're seeing cities that look pretty well. I mean, I guess some of these are the remnants of the old cities that are just there, and some are like whatever they've been able to build since then. Yeah, there's. I mean, when you get close up, the civilization's all sort of burnt out. So at Kanzua Dam, that's where the palace of Queen Kane is. Shows you how long concrete would last. This dam is still there. course, the first view, well, I guess it wouldn't matter. I mean, obviously we see her naked, but it wouldn't really matter. I mean, they don't do like full torso or whatever, but let's see who plays Queen Kane. Sylvia Hoeks. Uh, we've seen her stuff before. She was in Blade Runner 2049. That's where I remember her from, I guess. Yeah. Interesting. The only thing that like I still find a little. I mean, obviously the goal is you have to be able to suspend your sense of yourself, your sense of disbelief, so to speak. And there's a visual aesthetic they're doing on this show that is not something blind people who've never seen anything would do. Now I'm not sure why she would be the queen. Okay, of course we'd get a scene like this. She is taking care of herself, so to speak. Apparently, that's a religious ritual. That's some prayer. Now, why would she be the queen? This makes. I guess it could be hereditary, not just warrior tribalism. I wonder if the dogs went blind too. I mean, not that vision's big for dogs anyway. Interesting. I mean, the visuals. I mean, they like this is what. Like there is a sort of visual pattern to this show, but it's not so far that like the colors are very like there's ritual patterns and things like that, but they're not they're borderline believable for what you'd think a blind society would produce. Especially one where the concept of seeing something has heresy, you know. Apparently, they worship fire or something they think of manifests as fire. Okay. So we know that Jehemerel killed her sister, and apparently can see. Interesting. So there is some real politic involved in all of this. That's good. Okay, so they have basically the premise that sight, the evil of light, as they're calling it, they're blaming all the ills of the past for it. Okay, I mean it's so we're almost up to the end of the first episode here. They've made their escape. We've learned about the main enemy of the first season. They think that Jerlamel, Jerlamarel. So we're learning about Jerlamarel at the end here. Basically. So Jerlamarel apparently has some knowledge of the past. I'm presuming he found books. Okay, so this tribe is going to be on the move to finding sanctuary with this guy. Okay, so we got our premise. Our quest so far is finding sanctuary with Jaher Morel while they're being hunted by Queen Kane's Payan people. So Joshua Henry, who's a guest in both seasons, and there are other. Okay, Jim Morrell is okay. He's a recurring character in both seasons. Okay, so they're not gonna instant find him. I mean, the setup is there for this show. I'll give it that. Okay, Uh, the concern is gonna be, can they keep it believable that these people who can't see anything could survive? You know, that's gonna be the premise. It's almost like it's almost like the Battlestar Galactica story in a way. you know. So they advanced the edge of the cliff, and they found something by sound with I guess braille beads or whatever, where there's a ladder. It's a pole ladder with things carved into it. Looks like an old telephone pole more than anything. And that wouldn't last that long, obviously. So it's probably just a tree limb made to look like one. So it looks like Jehemarel has created a pathway through for them. So so Baba Voss has scouted the road. Okay, good premise to start with. They make it through, and they don't waste time with showing anyone just fall, everyone climbing down. They just skip to the next scene where they get to a plane or something. Yeah, either all the people didn't leave and therefore were killed by the witchfinders, or they just decided, yeah, we only show about 25% of them. Like the amount of people traveling now are about this, only slightly more than were in the actual army, right? But when they showed them in the village, there were like 4 or 5 times as many people as there are now. But they showed the village being completely empty, while when witchfinders arrived. So it's also possible the rest could have just scattered into the mountain or something. So they found an area beyond the mountain, a plain, and they said they're going to build a new home there. Yeah, I'm still here. Apparently, Google Meets times you out if no one else joins the call, so I have to keep hitting time in. Again, beautiful visual. So they're doing some nice pan shots where they show the scenes in the background. We see Baba Voss with the two adopted babies. You know, and they don't have the occluded eyes that the others have. Yeah, we know the bit. We were told that the babies could see. One of them looks at a flying bird. So, okay, so I may or may not do more episodes. I'm definitely gonna watch at least the first season. I'll tell you that, you guys, that much. Whoever, and I'll leave this video up. So I think it's worth giving a shot to anyone. It's there's a little, they do make an effort to show that they're using the other senses, and the other senses are have advanced, so that you can suspend your sense of disbelief, which is key. Okay? So, for those out there who popped in and listened, thank you very much. I'm gonna cut the live stream off now, and have a nice afternoon. This is Matt from Unbearable 73.